Brian, a dangerous criminal is still on the loose on the streets of Washington, D.C. Let's watch. Liberal Tears is brought to you by Acorns.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
The commentary killed me. Oh! That was Sean Dunn, a 37-year-old former Justice Department employee who was not happy about Trump's takeover of Washington, D.C., and he was ready to use his voice and his hoagie to make his displeasure known. As you saw, he drilled a Customs and Border Patrol officer with that delicious sandwich. Fun fact, that happened right by my old apartment in D.C.
Ooh, very fun.
How fun is that?
Yeah,
fun?
Awesome.
How are we having fun? But Brian, the story has a twist. So on Tuesday, federal prosecutors failed to persuade a grand jury in D.C. to approve a felony indictment against Dunn. And that is pretty shocking because prosecutors almost always are able to get indictments in these grand jury cases. Aaron Blake, a reporter at the Washington Post, tweeted that from October 2009 to September 2010, federal prosecutors pursued 193,000 cases, prosecuted 162,000, and of the 30,000 cases they didn't prosecute, only 11 were because a grand jury didn't return an indictment. So, Brian, that suggests this grand jury is not thrilled about the National Guard taking over Washington?
What is it they say, Tommy, that you can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich? And in a situation where they literally had to indict somebody overthrowing a sandwich, they couldn't do it?
Very nice.
Yeah, this is, look, I think that this is some rare glimmer of hope that with the folks who comprise the grand jury, they weren't sold on what the Trump administration is trying to do by weaponize the government to the high. I think they sent in something like 20 people to 20 cops to raid this guy's apartment once they found out who he actually was.
Yeah.
And so clearly it's not about the thing. You don't send 20 cops to raid somebody's apartment over a sandwich. It's about making an example of him, which by the way, is the same strategy that they're employing with Comar Abrego Garcia. Mm-hmm. Now that they've just landed on somebody, they know that they need to double, triple, quadruple down and make an example out of these people because it's about protecting their ego, not about actually doing proper law enforcement.
The other delicious part about this is the new U.S. attorney for D.C. is Judge Jeanine Pirro, who you guys probably know better from being wine drunk on Fox News.
That's right.
Primarily.
Yeah.
So she's not going well for her. But yeah, you're right. So this Dunn, the young man, the sandwich thrower,
hero, one might say.
He wasn't arrested the night of the hoagie assault. They just let him go. But then I think on Wednesday he found out there was a warrant against his arrest, but didn't have time to turn himself in because, as you said, 20 fucking cops showed up at his house.
Yeah.
But these grand jury processes are so difficult for defendants because the prosecution decides what information the grand jury gets to hear. The defendants aren't allowed to have a lawyer in the room when the evidence is presented. So the deck is stacked against you. And for this grand jury to not return an indictment is pretty great. So, Brian, we're laughing about this because we live in L.A. We had our own National Guard deployment here. It's not funny. It's not fun. It's pretty scary, actually. But mocking them is all we have left.
Yeah.
And I'm sure voters probably noticed in that video that this was a rather low-speed chase.
That's actually the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, damn, he's running so slow. They're going to get him for sure. And then I was like, oh, damn, they're running slower than him. Nobody. But I mean, these law enforcement officials are being recruited via 4chan. And so it's not exactly exactly waiting outside track meets to get these people.
No, just a bunch of dudes playing Call of Duty. Yeah, if I was in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, I would be a little bit worried about my agent's closing speed. I'd be doing some 40 times, maybe some shuttle drills.
Well, you've got what's his name, Superman, who's just struggling to get over those walls.
Well, so Brian, judging by the ICE, their recruiting pipeline, I think things are going to get worse, not better, as you just suggested. Let's watch.
This time, Dean Cain isn't flying there. He's going through that obstacle course and training to be an honorary ICE agent. He was working hard out there, and this is exactly what those recruits will do as they're picked one by one. And they're at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Brunswick, Georgia.
This time, Dean isn't flying. Yeah, we noticed. I do like that part of ICE training is just dragging what I'm almost positive is a sex doll for 11 feet.
That's right.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, that was former actor Dean Cain. He is training to join ICE in some capacity. He's best known for playing Superman on a 90s TV show called Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Did you watch that show? I didn't.
No.
I was too young for it. These days, Dean Cain is preparing to chase undocumented people and relevance, it seems.
That's right. Here's the thing. Look, I have some sympathy because I've been in the entertainment industry. I moved here to work in the entertainment industry.
Porn.
And porn specifically. But
we got to get it together. This is too funny. Sorry, you were saying.
So I have some sympathy for folks who work in the entertainment industry. It's hard out there.
Yeah.
It's hard to find roles, and somebody offers you $50,000. I mean, that does not come around often.
Really nice.
It's the greatest role he's ever had. You know what I mean? So I get it. I mean, I've done much more degrading commercials for a lot less money than $50,000. So if you're Dean Cain, I kind of get it.
Yeah, get that money. The Atlantic reported that ICE is preparing to make commemorative Superman coins with Dean Cain's likeness on them. Feels a little premature.
That's right. Let's see if he can get out of basic training first.
He's not even going over the monkey bars. He's walking through them at this point. Anyway, yeah, it's terrible. I really don't want more National Guard members deployed to cities. I don't want more ICE people, chasing people through liberal cities. It's quite scary out there.
Yeah, and look, Trump is continuing to use this threat in other Democratic, bastions, strongholds. Chicago, he's threatened Wes Moore to send the National Guard into Baltimore, and this is during Wes Moore. Like, Wes Moore is standing there explaining how crime is reducing every single year that he's been in office, and Trump is just so focused on vilifying any Democratic stronghold, any blue city, that he's like, you know what? Let's just send the military into Baltimore too if Wes Moore doesn't say nice things about me.
Just hucking sandwiches all over D.C., causing problems. All right, Brian. So also on this week, on Tuesday, Donald Trump hosted a 3-hour cabinet meeting. 3 hours. All of it open press. We had to watch it, so you guys at home didn't. I think calling it a meeting is kind of misleading. It was more of just a ritualistic sucking session.
Yeah, I believe the official governmental term is a circle jerk.
Yeah.
So
here's what I mean.
If you all haven't stopped by the Department of Labor, Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor, because you are really the transformational president of the American worker.
Working for this government, for you, is the greatest honor of my life. I tell it to everybody, and I really do feel that way, and I thank you.
You have breathed life back into the profession of law enforcement.
This is just such a great opportunity, really, to recognize your leadership as a true champion for working people.
Well, Mr. President, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to work for you.
Our country has never been so secure thanks to you. You have brought us back from the edge.
And there's only one thing I wish for, that noble committee finally gets its act together and realizes that you are the single finest candidate since this Nobel Award was ever talked about.
Nobel. The Nobel Peace Prize, dude.
That's the issue you have, Tommy?
Jesus Christ, Steve
Who put the
Witkoff.
music over that? Well, we couldn't afford Sarah McLachlan?
Arms of an Angel is that's the price of
Tommy,
ice bonus.
I am old enough to remember when the Republicans impeached the Democratic president for a job in the Oval Office. Now they're out there giving him away.
As Brian alluded to, every president gets sucked up to. They stand up when you walk in the room, right? Like, every joke you tell is hilarious. No one wants to tell you bad news, but like, I think most presidents, most human beings kind of roll their eyes at that stuff after a certain amount of time. Trump just demands more of it. Yeah. 3 hours.
There was a great moment where I believe Howard Lutnick was explaining the blockchain. Took a moment off of just heaping undying praise and slavish devotion and servility to Donald Trump, and started mentioning the blockchain, and you could just see Trump's eyes glaze over because they're not talking about him, and just.
That was not a sound effect. That was actually Brian.
Yeah, it's all I'll have left.
It's really good
in the near future.
It's really good. It's a gift. You should share it with the world.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Things are grim. At least I have one thing going for me.
Same. So I did a little research here. George Washington was the first president to convene the cabinet. That set a precedent that most other presidents followed, but it's not in the Constitution. There's no obligation to hold a cabinet meeting. Dwight Eisenhower let photographers in. Ronald Reagan made it kind of a made-for-TV event with a pool spray, a couple minutes of video at the front. But then Donald Trump has just made it into a farce. These are never useful meetings. The cabinet didn't really kind of all get around a table and decide weighty affairs of state, but
fix the country's problems.
Yeah, at least there were real updates about kind of what people are working on.
The amazing thing about this is this is supposed to be the Doge government, right? This is governmental efficiency.
Right.
4 fucking hours,
What are we doing?
Heaping praise onto Donald Trump because he has to go around the table and hear nice things about himself because he has the thinnest skin in the world and he is nothing if not a Fabergé egg ego of a man. 4 fucking hours of the day with the president of the United States, the purported leader of the free world, just hearing compliments about himself. That's the best use of time.
The president should have something better to do, as should his entire leadership of the entire government.
Yeah.
Who's running the show when this meeting is happening? We have no idea. They also got a journalist in on the act. You see, this one woman came forward and talked about she had been pistol whipped in Washington, which is obviously awful, but then it turned into like another example of her saying like, thank you for your leadership. You're cleaning up the streets. Like the journalists are doing this now.
Yeah.
Not just the political people.
I mean, that's the goal. It's really, I mean, for them, it's all about optics, right? Like, it's not about actually doing the thing, because if it was about doing the thing, we wouldn't have a 4-hour jerk-off session with Donald Trump getting praise from all of his people. It's surrounding himself with people that can convey the optics that Donald Trump is doing something important.
Yep.
And so by banishing the AP, for example, but filling even the press corps with like devotees and loyalists, this is what's going to happen. And
Exactly.
so like it's like textbook fascist behavior is to surround yourself with people who are just going to give the optics that that you're doing what you said you would do.
Yeah, and Fox News played it all day long. Liberal Tears is brought to you by Acorns. Did you know that your money could grow on its own? No, it's not magic. It's called compounding. That's when your money makes money, then that money makes even more money. Acorns makes it easy to give your money a chance to grow. When was the last time money stressed you out, made you feel guilty, jealous? Money can make us feel a lot of things, but what if it made you feel hopeful? Get more out of your money and start building a better future with Acorns. Acorns is the financial wellness app that helps you invest in your future, save for tomorrow, and spend smarter today. Acorns makes it easy to start doing more with your money. In fact, you can start automatically investing with just your spare change. You don't have to be a finance whiz. Acorns puts your money into an expert-built portfolio to make sure you're investing wisely, not wildly. Plus, Acorns can support your money goals in life, a new car, a first home, investing in your kids, saving up for retirement, and so much more. Acorns even has a checking account that automatically invests for you and an emergency fund that grows your money. It's an all-in-one, easy-to-use app. I wish I'd known about Acorns back when I was in my early 20s, because if I had started saving then, it would have really benefited me now. The more you can put away, even if it's just $5, $10 a month, whatever you can do, if you save for retirement early, it pays huge dividends later. That's why Acorns is an amazing product and will give you that opportunity to build a retirement future you want, or buy that car, or save up for whatever it is you want in your life. Sign up now and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/rank or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/rank. Brian, you know who nailed this dynamic of like the Trump kind of ass-kissing and paying fealty to him?
Oh, do I?
Was the gang at South Park. I believe we have a clip from last week's episode.
Mr. President, you have so many great ideas. Your leadership is truly beyond anything we have ever had in this country. And you do not have a small penis. Ah, thanks, gang. On behalf of the state of Florida, I'd like to give you this gift, a silver-plated space shuttle.
Next! Mr. President, your ideas for the tech industry are so innovative, and you definitely do not have a small penis.
Ah, thanks, gang.
Please accept this gift on behalf of Apple.
Next! Mr. President, your idea is incredible. You do not have small penis.
Another great day getting presents. Hey, Satan, look at what some dipshit tech CEO gave me. I was thinking maybe we could try to shove it up your ass.
It's been a great season of South Park so far.
You know, the amazing thing is I'm glad that they're doing this for two reasons. One, I think mockery is important.
Mm-hmm.
Not obviously, like, that's not our only tool, and I think that
We're getting there.
We're
getting there.
That's true. I don't want to like resistance libs ourselves into thinking that like all we have to do is like make fun of Trump on Twitter and then we'll get him this time. But I think it's also important that they focused on these people who are doing the capitulating.
Totally.
Because it's just like, it's humiliating for them too. Everybody expects it from Trump. We know who Trump is, which is, by the way, not to absolve him, but it's baked into the cake that he is a fascist piece of shit. But like when you kind of memorialize this and put Tim Cook in there doing what he did, it's humiliating. So I hope that serves as some disincentivization to not do this stuff, because yes, it's going to be easy for these people to capitulate because they think that that's the path of least resistance, but it shouldn't be. And the South Park stuff, like, for as funny as it is, it's also important because it does have cultural heft, and like that's the flip side of that coin.
Oh yeah, I bet you that every single person at Apple has seen that episode.
Yeah,
they're all talking about it.
Totally,
and
it's fucking embarrassing
to work there. Yeah, it's embarrassing for Tim Cook. It's embarrassing for them. It's terrible. Speaking of embarrassing, Brian, let's talk about the Democrats. Axios reported this week that senior officials in the Democratic Party are considering holding a national convention before the 2026 midterms to kind of make news, break through the Trump noise, showcase young leaders in the party. This would be similar to the conventions that are held in presidential years, but a smaller scale. We here at Crooked Media were able to use our connections with the DNC to get some exclusive footage of what this mini DNC might look like.
Oh, God.
Here's a clip. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, it'd be better than what we've got right now.
That was the 1996 DNC, I believe. Okay, so that's a joke, obviously. Jokes aside, I'm undecided on how I feel about this idea. Like, on the one hand, I support creativity. I want new ideas. I want Democrats to make news on their own terms. Maybe this could help. On the other hand, I worry about conventions kind of get watched by partisans, like Democrats watch the DNC, Republicans watch the RNC. I also worry a bit about any meeting of Democrats devolving into a fight about Gaza or some other contentious issue. But what do you think?
I'm split here, legitimately. I think that any opportunity that Democrats have to own the narrative, own the media cycle, is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And I think Trump has benefited from that hundreds of times over, thousands of times over, where he gets to dictate what people talk about. The conventions are an opportunity where we know that we have the stage. Even if for no other reason other than, there's a convention, we paid for it, and you're kind of dictating what that coverage is going to be. The flip side of that is it feels very top heavy, like top down, and I don't think that's the move right now. I feel like the direction of the party right now is kind of coming more from, and should come more from, the grassroots, and not kind of like be dictated down from like leadership or the DNC or these like nebulous like groups that are supposedly in charge of the whole like pro-democracy movement. Yeah. And so, I'm loath to say like, yes, let's have them step in. Like, people often complain about the DNC, but really the DNC is a fundraising apparatus.
They have no power.
They have no power and aren't the ones who dictate messaging and shouldn't be the ones who dictate messaging.
Or policy.
Or policy. And I think we confer a lot of power to them just by virtue, because oftentimes people are looking for somebody to blame.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that we have to have more of a focus on kind of the grassroots space as opposed to like relying on the DNC to get some action.
That's sort of the debate I'm having in my head too. Like, when something becomes like a convention or like a DNC like event and things get approved, they tend to get pretty sanded down, right? They're pretty consensus. They're not offensive to anyone, right? And so you could get a lot of like things that feel like talking points. I agree with you, like, just optically, if it's just a big venue and a big stage with lots of production, like, that could read as very inauthentic and missing the moment. Yeah. Where, you look at New York, right? You have someone like Zoran Mamdani, like, just walking around the streets, talking to people, like making videos, doing vertical video. I do think the Mamdani sort of approach to media is the way. The Axios said that like mini conventions like this were routine for Democrats in the 70s and 80s. They ditched them in 1986 when party leaders were like, hey, this is a waste of time and money. I kind of worry we might end up at that place again. But I don't know, man. Like, breaking through in the Trump era is really, really hard. You either tweet like a lunatic, like Gavin Newsom, or no one hears what you say.
So what do you think? If you had gun to your head, yes or no, do we do a mini convention? What would you say?
I would say if we do a mini convention, I could be for it, but it has got to be a mini convention for like the TikTok era. It's got to be about reaching people where they're consuming news. It's got to be about like sort of all digital stuff. It can't be an effort to get a network to take it. Like, I don't care about any about that. I don't care about stage production. Yeah. But if you can get a bunch of Democrats to all agree to come together and deliver a focused message at a certain time and date that actually tells people who we are. Because I do think we have a huge brand problem as Democrats. Like, Republicans are flailing. Trump's approval is way down, but the Democratic Party's approval and brand is not doing well.
Right.
And we are not going to do well in the midterms if the choice is between like Republicans that they don't like and Democrats that they may be like even less. So we need to be more clear about who we are, define ourselves, find some great leaders, put them forward, and maybe this could be that.
That's my concern about doing this right now, like before 2026. I think we're in a moment right now where the party in 2024 is not going to look the same as the party in 2026. I think there will be, and I hope there will be, a whole new wave of elected officials who are going to take the place of a lot of folks who are in the party who are either too old, too impotent, too focused on compromise, whatever it may be, too out of touch with people, whatever it may be, too establishment. And so it feels weird to like spend money and spend time and expend resources right now on something before what I think is going to be a big wave, like maybe a Democratic Tea Party year. Like I think that until we have those people, it's weird to spend money kind of promoting the Democratic brand, which I think is poised for a big shift and a big change after these midterms. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get to have them. Uplifting close.
Yeah, that's right.
Uplifting close.
Here's a real close, and that is that one of the most important spaces that we have to be fighting on, not just the courts, not just at the ballot box, but in this media space. And the media space is where the vast majority of people are building up their worldview so that they can determine, whether they're going to vote for Democrats or Republicans. So we are at, a huge disadvantage on the left. The right has spent the last 10 years investing time, energy, and resources into building up their independent media infrastructure. But a big step that everybody could take that's super simple is to subscribe to Pod Save America's YouTube channel. That's the channel that you're watching on right now. Help elevate the voices of Tommy and everybody else at Crooked as they continue to do the work every day of getting this stuff into the ecosystem so that when people sign on to YouTube, they're not automatically sorted into right-wing content. So again, small step that everybody can take. It's completely free, and it's a great way to elevate these voices.
And subscribe to Brian's channel. We'll put the link on the screen right here. Here? I don't know where the link's going to go. Do you know?
I do, but
it's an editing thing?
I do, but I'll let you drown.
Subscribe.